What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be looking at why I believe the Toronto Maple Leafs still could make another move. I don't know if it's going to be a significant move. That's kind of the question that you and myself are going to answer in this video and in the comments. So if you are new to this channel, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Join the squad. We got lots of NHL/Toronto Maple Leaf videos going up on this channel. Lots of content is coming up, so leave some suggestions down below, whatever you want to see regarding mostly the Toronto Maple Leafs. But yeah, if you are new here, I'd love for you to stick around, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, and thank you to all the new subscribers. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because it's been a little bit quiet lately. There hasn't been a ton of rumors. There has been some talk about the Leafs possibly trying to wait around to see if Galchenyuk might be an option, maybe in a few weeks or so, which I actually do believe there still is an outside chance they could do that, and we will get to that in a second. But you never know with what's going on with this team right now, and I will be making an all or nothing video within the next couple days, so be on the lookout for that. But the Toronto Maple Leafs definitely could either shock us or just roll into the season with the group of guys that they've got. Also, some guys that I'm not mentioning too much in this video is going to be Josh Ho-Sang, because we're not really sure how that's going to work out. So basically, if you don't hear too much about him, it's because it's just a tryout for now. So let's just look at this cluster of players that are here. The reason why I'm showing you this first, and don't worry about the cap space, it's because I brought a bunch of people up to show you guys potential options. Now, this doesn't look amazing on paper, but there's a few wild cards here. First of all, we'll look at it in a second, but Andre Kasha is definitely a wild card. I believe Michael Bunting is also a wild card, and you're probably going to consider Nick Ritchie a wild card. And the reason why I wanted to say that is, and we're going to look at their numbers individually here. First of all, Nick Ritchie is only 25 years old. He's proven that he can be a crash and bang player, but he took a bit of a leap with the Bruins this past season. When he was playing in their top six, he was putting up decent numbers. Now, when he got bumped down, of course, the Taylor Hall move, everything like that, when they were pushing towards the playoffs, he wasn't seeing as much time in the top six, but it looks like he was slowly starting to really hit his stride. So Nick Ritchie could be a guy, if he gets top 6 minutes, that impresses a lot of people in Toronto. Now, Andre Kasha, again, a younger guy, 25 years old as well. If he stays healthy, and that's the biggest if, this guy has scored 20 goals before. You know, he can put up a decent amount of points. And I do believe if they are going to be playing, I think they are playing a full 82 this year, but regardless, if you can get him for 70 games, and that seems crazy because he's never done it in his career, but the Toronto Maple Leafs have a really good staff, medical team. You're going to probably get 15 to 20 goals from this guy, depending on the role he plays, right? So Andre Kasha is definitely another guy. Now, Michael Bunting. Again, are you seeing a theme here? 25 years old, took a leap with the Coyotes this past season, playing in 21 games with them. He had 10 goals, 13 points in 21 games. The Coyotes obviously weren't a great team. He put up good numbers in the AHL as well, 19 points in 16 games played. Those three guys combined could definitely be wild cards. Now, another guy that I would also like to bring up in terms of being a wild card would be, so it's not on the official roster, but it's obviously, we know Nick Robertson, a guy that played really well for the Marlies, basically a point per game player, and then in the OHL, the guy just torched the league. I mean, he could have scored 60 goals, but those guys are wild cards, okay? So the reason I'm bringing up that first before talking about a trade is because I do believe that there's work that needs to be done, and I wanted to do it with you guys here. So Joey Anderson, people probably wouldn't be talking about him too much, so we're gonna put him down here, but he is an interesting name. Curtis Gabriel, same thing. I don't really know if he's either gonna play for the Marlies or just be a guy that gets released. I still happen to think he is the backup for Wayne Simmons. We got Adam Brooks as well. I like him, but he's probably not going to be playing. Now, this is starting to shape up. You're getting 4 lines here. Now, these aren't going to be like the official lines. I'm just kind of playing around with some of the lines here, because there's a lot of people that would consider putting Kerfoot here. I believe that he'll probably still end up on the 3rd line center, but again, I'm not going through too many lines. I do believe there's a chance Nick Robertson stays on this team. It's a little bit of an outside chance, but the reason why I'm thinking that is because I do believe the Leafs were shopping Ilya Mikheyev. I do like the guy, but if we're going to look at Mikheyev's numbers here, he's 26 years old. His cap hit's $1.6 million. And 17 points in 54 games played. Previously 23 and 39. Obviously the injury didn't do too much for him. But the Toronto Maple Leafs really need to make up their mind here, because if Mikheyev can stop, being a liability when it comes to like breakaways or finishing, like, you guys need to remember, Mikheyev was like a stick down away from finishing the Montreal Canadiens in round 1. The Leafs literally almost won off of the really nice deflection shot that William Nylander made. Mikheyev, all he had to do was put a stick on the ice and tap it in, and this would have been a completely different offseason for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Winning a round would have been huge for them. Mikheyev can't finish. The guy, I'm sorry, I love him. He's fast. He's a big body. He's not afraid to hit, but he can't finish. And the Leafs needed depth scoring, and he just didn't give it to them. So this is probably going to be a guy that you see they're going to have to make a decision on him. So for now, just for the sake of this video, I'm putting him on LTIR because that'll clear up cap space, right? So you're seeing now that they're in the positive for cap space. The other guy is Pierre Engvall. I've been a guy that's really liked him. I've really liked him. He's only 25. 1.25. They could just bury him in the minors, but I don't believe that's going to be the case. They're probably going to end up putting him on waivers or trying to move him, and then seeing, basically what they can get. I think they can get a late round pick, like a 6th or a 7th for him. And again, that's nothing crazy, but the Leafs are definitely okay with just acquiring cap space at this point. I think that there was a point where he looked really good, and of course his numbers with the Marlies have looked really good. But if he's not playing the checking, speed role, then he's not really doing much, because he's like Mikheyev. He can't finish, and one of his goals were against a Zamboni driver. Sorry, I had to bring that up, but actually I really didn't need to bring that up. But listen, Engvall and Mikheyev are two guys that I think if the Leafs are going to go out there and get a better quality player, I'd rather than put Robertson in there and give him a shot in the 3rd or 4th line, and then get a guy like Galchenyuk. So let's just see if that's something that's even possible. So we're going to also be trading Pierre Engvall, right? So now you're at $1.3 million in cap space, but keep in mind, I also have brought up Timothy Liljegren, which he'll end up being a paper transaction. And by that, I mean they'll probably just keep sending him up and down, moving him basically all over the place, just to be able to afford another player. Now, you're going to look at this lineup and go, okay, well, then who comes out? Now, I think that there's going to be rotation with Simmons and Spezza. I don't really know if they're going to be playing any given night. I think you can say the same thing for Nick Robertson. Although if they really like what he does out of camp, maybe this is what the Leafs go with, and then they just keep using that cap space throughout the season to accumulate it for the deadline, which I would definitely consider. But you could use that $2.1 million and bring back Galchenyuk at a $1.5 million cap hit for a couple years. If it's anything higher than that, then I'm completely fine with the Leafs going with this and then moving the lines around, because I wouldn't make, these wouldn't be the lines in my opinion. Now, mind you, that 3rd line actually would be kind of interesting, but I think that there's probably a better chance that Spezza gets more offensive opportunities. Maybe Kerfoot's a guy that moves up to the left wing. That's a completely different video. But like I said, this roster right here, in terms of some guys like Mikheyev, and in terms of Engvall, they're just getting paid too much money for what the Leafs are trying to do this offseason, and continuing to build on this roster right here. Again, No particular order. I just think that if the Leafs want to use this cap space, they can use it towards the deadline, or they can pick up a guy like Galchenyuk and try to bolster this lineup, because this doesn't look like the greatest lineup, just based off of guys, like I said, like Kasha, who's injury prone, Michael Bunting, who's unproven, Nick Ritchie, who are you going to rely on him for the top six? David Kampf, not a lot of people know about him, but he's a defensive beast. What are you going to do with Kerfoot? Is Robertson ready? Do you want to have Simmons and Spezza playing? These are all questions that need to be answered, and they could be answered by trading Engvall and Mikheyev, opening up a little bit of space, maybe even trying to acquire somebody via trade, because the Leafs do have picks to use here. They do have picks. They can use these first, these seconds, whatever they want to do. But again, it's going to be difficult acquiring anybody with, a high cap hit. Usually those are better players. Sometimes we all know that there's a lot of players that get way overpaid, but I just wanted to make this video to show you guys give you guys my opinion and turn it over to you. Would you like to use this cap space right now, or would you like to see where the Leafs are at the deadline and just use the cap space there? Because again, at the deadline, there's a bunch of different ways that the Leafs can acquire players at a cheaper rate, like they did with the Foligno trade with double retention. The Leafs loved the double retention at the deadline this year. $2.1 million accumulating until the deadline would do wonders for them. Maybe it'd be a little bit less with Timothy Liljegren bouncing up and down from the Marlies to the Leafs. And again, who knows? Maybe by the deadline, the Leafs aren't very good and they start selling off guys like Morgan Riley and getting a king's ransom for him. Maybe they sell off a few other guys. Who knows? But this is one of those seasons that's going to be all or nothing. And that's a teaser for one of my videos coming up. So if you guys are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Join the squad. Thank you for watching. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Make sure to leave your video suggestions and comments about what the Leafs should do with cap space, or if they're just going to stay put. Peace.